the White House went and shut this thing down more as a way of presenting a photo op rather than a real need to shut it down at
all. No, the government would never do such a thing, Frank.
Well, what's kind of crazy is that we've gone through a week where the President of the United States has said that he's anxious to talk to Iran, that he's anxious to talk to the Taliban over in Afghanistan, but he doesn't want to pick up the phone and talk to Republicans. I kind of find that strange.
Well, he's got to talk to his buddies Hitler and a headscarf over there and over there overseas. So we got to take their calls, but the guys that I'm supposed to be working with, screw those guys. I'm not talking to them. We've got Frank Vernuccio with us today here on the program. And it is a tremendous day to talk about the government shutdown. Someone pointed out on Twitter earlier that the government shuts down all the time on Christmas and holidays, and I've been talking about that too. And we never freak out then. Why are we freaking out today?
Here's the problem. We're talking about a government shutdown because they don't want to appropriate yet more money to pay the bills. Another budget that's way over the top. But in the last 11 months, Washington has collected $2,472,542,000, which is a record high of tax collections. And despite that record high of tax collections, they're still claiming they don't have enough money to run the government. It doesn't make any sense. Unfortunately, giving more money to Washington is like giving more booze to an alcoholic. It's not going to solve the problem, and it is going to kill the patient.
I love that. We've got Frank Vernuccio with us today here on the program talking about the government shutdown. Some of these other stories that are kind of falling through the cracks. One thing that I noticed today on some of the alternative news sites and I guess you would some would call them conspiracy theorists and things of that nature. But I did notice today that there might be a government shutdown, but the NSA opened a $2 billion NSA spying center today.
Yeah, somehow there was enough money for that. And unfortunately, a lot of that spying is being done on Americans rather than on those bad guys overseas.
Yes.
So you have to wonder what all that is for. At the same time, you're talking about a lot of these military vehicles being bought up by local police departments. So if you're a conspiracy character, there's a lot there to keep you busy this week.
Exactly. Now, it is Happy Obamacare Day as well. Frank, what are your thoughts on Obamacare?
Well, unfortunately, the numbers don't look great. Right now, even the most optimistic projections seem to indicate that there's going to be as many people uninsured after Obamacare is implemented than there were before Obamacare was implemented, which makes you wonder, what was this whole exercise about?
Well, see, that's the thing, and one of the most searched terms I noticed was on the new Obamacare website is, how do I get an exemption?
Well, there really is a lot. There really is a lot of concern over the thing. Although I don't agree with those who say that the example of the first day mistakes, the first day problems with the website should be a factor one way or the other. Those bugs are going to be in any new system. But the problem isn't that sort of thing. It's in the whole concept of Obamacare. It was implemented to give insurance to those who are uninsured, and it's not going to do that. Plus, it's going to cost people who have private insurance to pay a whole heck of a lot more. So really, what is it accomplishing? And the answer, of course, is nothing at all, except giving jobs to a whole new army of bureaucrats who will then know their loyalty to those folks who were elected to Washington. Whoops, there it is. That's the purpose of it. You gave a whole bunch of new federal employees who will vote now for the people who are going to increase their salaries over the years. What a masterstroke.
Well, Frank, what are some of the big stories besides this government shutdown and everything that people need to be watching for this week?
Well, the president met with Netanyahu of Israel, and of course, Israel is now terrified that the president is striking up friendly relations with Iran, giving Iran more than enough time to build that nuclear weapon that they've been going after. And the president's talking about a several-month period. I think it's up to 8 months for Iran to do what it should be doing about knocking out its nuclear program. Unfortunately, that period of time is exactly the amount of time that Iran needs to complete its nuclear program and build a bomb. So Israel is terrified, and they have every right to be. This is really serious stuff.
Well, Frank, I know that you guys are going to be following it over there at USA Gov Policy, and as always, keep the hard-hitting, down-to-earth commentaries coming each and every day, brother. I always enjoy listening to them. I know that our listening audience does too, and I always enjoy chatting with you each and every Tuesday. Thanks, man.
Thanks, James. And again, if any of your listeners are too terrified because the IRS isn't going to collect their taxes,